On April 20, 1999, the world watched as a high school in Littleton, Colorado became a battlefield. But the most disturbing part of the story isn't what happened that Tuesday. It's what happened a year prior. A stack of papers sat in a sheriff's department file. It contained a name, a set of death threats, and a description of pipe bombs. The system was given a specific name and detailed concerns. The paradox isn't that they weren't seen. It's that they were seen, documented, and then forgotten. If the warning signs were already on a desk, why didn't anyone intervene? Usually we look at tragedies and ask, how did we miss this? But in this case the question is more haunting. Why did we ignore this? This isn't just a story of two students with a dark plan. It's a study of institutional inertia. It's about the normalcy bias, the psychological phenomenon where we underestimate the possibility of a catastrophe because it has never happened before. Today we aren't just looking at the shooters. We are examining the fracture points where the justice system and local authorities had the chance to change history and let it slip through their fingers. Columbine High School in the late 90s was the picture of suburban success. To an outsider, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold were just two more faces in the crowd. They weren't monsters in plain sight. They were tech-savvy, seemingly intelligent students. But beneath the surface, a behavioral shift was occurring. In early 1998, the pair was arrested for breaking into a van to steal electronic equipment. Psychologically, this was a red flag moment. In the legal system, however, it was treated as a routine juvenile offense. They were placed in a diversion program, a system designed to rehabilitate young offenders through community service and counseling. To the counselors, they seemed like shining examples of the program's success. But this is where the investigation began to unravel. While they were performing rehabilitated behavior for the authorities, their private lives were spiraling into a different reality. In March 1998, 13 months before the attack, the parents of another student, Brooks Brown, contacted the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. They had found a website maintained by Eric Harris. It wasn't just angst. It was a hit list. It contained explicit threats against their son and descriptions of making pipe bombs. Authorities were made aware. A sheriff's investigator, John Hicks, took the report. He realized the gravity. He even drafted an affidavit for a search warrant for the Harris residence. He noted that the descriptions of the bombs on the website matched reports of actual mysterious explosions that had been occurring in the area. That detail raised serious procedural concerns. If the police had a suspect, a motive, and a potential crime scene, why wasn't the warrant ever filed? Here is where the institutional weakness becomes apparent. The warrant remained a draft. It was never taken to a judge. It remains unclear why stronger action wasn't taken. Some analysts suggest a silo effect within the department, where the juvenile division, the patrol officers, and the investigators weren't sharing data. The diversion counselors didn't know about the death threats. The officers who took the death threat report didn't realize the boys were already on probation for the van break-in. This is a classic case of information fragmentation. When the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, the most dangerous individuals find the cracks to hide in. If the warrant had been served, they might have uncovered additional evidence. But instead the file was tucked away in a drawer. Why did everyone miss what was coming? The mask of sanity. Eric Harris, in particular, exhibited signs of what psychologists call malignant narcissism. He was an expert at impression management. He knew how to look his probation officer in the eye and say exactly what they wanted to hear. The dismissal of youthful hyperbole. In 1999, the school shooter archetype didn't exist in the public consciousness as it does now. Authorities allegedly viewed the website threats as tough talk from a teenager, not a tactical blueprint. Institutional underestimation. The system was built to handle crimes, thefts, fights, not ideologies. The police were looking for evidence of a past crime, while Harris and Klebold were focused on a future event. The system suffered from a collective failure of imagination. They couldn't imagine that two good kids from good families were capable of what the report suggested. The strongest contradiction lies in a meeting that took place after the tragedy. Shortly after the attack, high-ranking officials within the sheriff's office met to discuss the 1998 report. Instead of coming forward with the Brown report and the draft warrant, the existence of these documents was not publicly acknowledged for years. This is the ultimate fracture point. It wasn't just a failure to prevent, it was a failure of accountability. The very system designed to protect the public had evidence that could have changed everything, but that was not publicly disclosed for years, raising questions about transparency until investigative journalists forced it into the light. If the intervention had happened, if that one signature had been placed on that one warrant in 1998, the history of the American school system would look very different today. We often look for monsters to blame. But sometimes the tragedy lies in the mundane. A folder that wasn't opened, a phone call that wasn't returned, a warrant that wasn't signed. If the warning signs were already there, written in black and white, what does that say about the systems we trust to protect us? Are we better at connecting the dots today, or are we still blinded by the hope that it can't happen here? The question isn't whether they were reported. They were. The question is, why did the system choose not to see? What do you think was the biggest failure in this case? Was it a lack of resources or a lack of will? Comment below. This wasn't the only time the system missed the warning signs. Explore more cases in our Historic Justice Failures playlist here. This is the True Crime Report. When justice fails, the truth remains.